Algebra 2, this is Chapter 7, Section 3. This is the second of 4 videos. So quickly covering the methods for solving a quadratic. We've got complete the square. We've got factoring. We have the square root property. We have the quadratic formula. And we have graphing, but don't use this one. That's only if you needed an approximation. Graphing is usually not the best way to go. If you've got a graphing calculator, it's great to use graphing and kind of get a rough estimate to see where our shape is. But in general, you don't use graphing to actually solve. You just use it to get the approximation to help see if maybe your work was right or to get you a starting point. So those are our main methods for solving quadratics. So let's get into this. So here's example 2 for today. We want to solve this one with a quadratic technique. So going back to our first video, what we did was we took this and we wrote this as x squared minus 13 x squared plus 36 equals 0. And I like to always start with factoring to see if I can factor it to get there, because if I can factor it, that's going to be the fastest method. So I want two numbers that add to give me 13 and multiply to get me 36. And I know 4 times 9 is 36 and 4 plus 9 is 13. So this is going to be an x squared minus 4 and an x squared minus 9. Little mouse trouble there. And so from there, I need to factor this some more. This is a difference of two squares. So this becomes x minus 2, x plus 2. Remember this one? The middle terms cancel out. When you get this, this is the minus 2x, and this one over here becomes the plus 2x. So they cancel out. This is also a difference of two squares, because that ugly thing right here, this is a 9, even though it doesn't want to look like one. And then that would be x minus 3 and x plus 3. And all of that's equal to 0. So from there, we know that anytime you multiply things together, if you end up with 0, one of those has to be 0. And so we will set them each equal to 0. So that makes this x here would be equal to positive 2. This x here would be equal to the negative 2. This x here would make a positive 3. And this x here would make a negative 3. And there would be 4 solutions. And notice that our degree of our polynomial is 4, and we have 4 solutions. So I would write that plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3. And that's the neatest, cleanest way to write it. And lots of books will have your answer written that way in the back. So let's go look at one more example here. So this is a cube and 343. What is 343? Well, by golly, it's 7 cubed. So this is actually a sum of 2 cubes, and you have a formula for that. And so we need to take the first term, and that will make this an x plus 7. And hopefully you have these in your notes, the formulas. If not, go back and find them. And then this one becomes x squared, and this is a minus 7x, and then this is a plus 7 squared, and 7 squared would be 49. Okay, so that thing has been factored now, and so we know that one of these two things has to be 0, and so right now this one can go straight, and you know that this is a negative 7 coming out here. This one, on the other hand, might need to be factored some more. And so we look at it and go, well, there's no two numbers that multiply to get 49 that would add to get you 7. So we're probably going to have to use our quadratic formula. And so we grab another color. So we know that x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And we plug this stuff in. So x equals negative b. b is negative 7, so that becomes a positive 7, plus or minus square root. And then b squared, so that becomes a 49, minus 4 times 1, which is a, times c, which is 49. And all of that goes over 2a, and 2a is 1, so that's all over 2. So we get x equals 7 plus or minus square root. And whenever I take this and plug this all in a calculator, 49 minus 4 times 1 minus 49, I get a negative 147 here. Again, all that's over 2. And then I can reduce this a little bit. So x is going to be equal to 7 plus or minus, and then I'm going to pull the I out, and 47. 47 is actually, I believe, 49 times 3. Let's double check that one in the calculator. Clear. So 47, how'd I get there? Well, 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 7 is 13, or sorry, 5 plus 7 is 12, and 12 is divisible by 3, so 147 is divisible by 3, and I do in fact get a 49, so I can pull the 7 out, and I can pull the I out. So let me get rid of that little guy there. So I'm going to pull out a 7 and an I, leaving the 3 inside. Again, 147, when you factor it, is 3 times 49, and so the square root of 147 is equal to the square root of 3 times the square root of 49, which is where this 7 right here came from. And all that is over a 2. And that's as far as that one goes. And so our answers, we have answers of negative 7 up here. So x is equal to either negative 7 or 2 imaginary things. And so that gives us 3 possible solutions. Our leading coefficient had a degree of 3, and we have 3 solutions, so we are good.